Well, the Commonwealth Association for PAC actually was born in concept last June in the fourth Westminster workshop for public accounts committees, where in a discussion we had on the effectiveness of public accounts committees, it was felt that although there are regional associations in which some members of the Commonwealth are associated in terms of taking better practice in public accounts committee and sharing ideas and also experiences, but it was felt that as a Commonwealth there could be true added value if there is a wider umbrella of association which embraces all the Commonwealth members in a forum which could support training of public account committee members, giving best practice, also advocating certain important issues such as transparency, independence in terms of public accounts committees, and also effectiveness, and therefore creating this body in which all the members of the Commonwealth can participate and also therefore share their experiences, get trained, and also get best practice of how they can be effective as public accounts committee members. Obviously not in a vacuum, but in terms of a reality that as parliamentarians we have a duty also to ensure transparency and good governance in the way public funds are being spent, and therefore enhancing, even in line with a Chatham declaration a year and a half ago, where the heads of government had specifically stated on the need to continue strengthening the public account committee function of every member state in the Commonwealth to ensure that there is this element of greater transparency, greater effectiveness, and also independence. I know that precisely Malta, in terms of its vision for what it wants to see be achieved on the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, is a Commonwealth that adds value to the world, not merely to the Commonwealth members, but also be of relevance in that sense also to the world. So I think also what we are trying to do in enhancing the Public Accounts Committee framework to the creation of a CAPAC association, which will not be limited also in participation to merely Commonwealth members, but also to other countries that share the Commonwealth values and possibly have also parliamentary systems which are close to the Commonwealth, to also participate, to have a more structure which can really add value in terms of what we can give in terms of public accountability to public finances, which I think in the world today, when we've seen the financial crisis, we've seen that every pound spent or euro spent is becoming more scrutinized, where budgets are more limited, where we need to ensure that we have more effectiveness in our spending rather than increasing taxation on our people. I mean, the public accounts committees can play such an important role to ensure that the money spent from taxpayers' money, we can truly get value. And this is where the CAPAC can come in, to truly give this best practice to support public accounts committees, also especially in countries where possibly they don't have the same, because of their size, capacity to do certain things, to give this support and to ensure that we are able to achieve this. So I think the CHOGM can be a good platform in that sense, not merely to raise awareness, but to also show that there is true ownership of this process, and that there have been concrete steps forward in establishing such a framework of support to all Commonwealth countries, and also those countries that would like to receive such support. Well, first of all, I must say that public accounts committees, if we had to possibly focus from a parliamentarian perspective, is one of the most difficult committees for every parliament, because it is not the more popular. It deals with the thorny issues. At times, not even some governments would be very happy with the outcome of its findings and recommendations it may do, and therefore they find a bit themselves to be in a quite, what I would say, a lonely situation, because obviously they are fighting against the current of governance, because they are bringing out certain issues which need to be scrutinized, debated, and analyzed much better. But also there's an element of good governance in terms how this is approached in a bit of a less partisan manner, to ensure that these committees are truly effective. And this is where I think the committee, in our discussions, we thought we could really support and add value to this reality. But as you said also, it is very important because it brings together a lot of parliamentarians on an issue which I think is becoming ever more important and which is recognized in its importance. I mean, and it's been born from a need rather than from philosophy. You know, I mean, now I think the Westminster seminar last year was the 4th year dealing with Public Accounts Committee. There's an intention of another one to be held, the 5th seminar. Clearly the demand for it is there. Parliamentarians want to know more, recognize that on certain issues that are very specialized and specific for Public Accounts Committee, they need to be trained and exposed to what other countries are doing, to other experiences, to research that has already been done. You know, there's a lot of research done by the World Bank, the CPA International, and other multilateral organizations, which we as a CAPAC want to also associate, work with, partner with, you know, in our work. And therefore all this can really add you know, value to a parliamentarian and give him the support and exposure they need to perform the work in their respective parliaments more effectively. Yeah, I think it's first of all, it was a positive experience, but it was very practical. It wasn't just talking about theory, but I mean the way it was approached was taking a lot of it's true, it was a very intense program, I must say. I mean, if I remember well the agenda, it's not that we had much free time, but I think the topics that were raised, the way they were approached, the speakers, the interaction, the also doing of some hands-on work, you know, was very effective. I mean, it was so effective that I think from it was born also the idea of having something more structured like the CAPAC, which is not intended to replace the workshop by no way, because the workshop is one of the areas CAPAC wants to strengthen in terms of training of Public Account Committee members. But I think clearly there is value in what is being done, and when you talk of from a workshop, you know, the creation of an agency or of an association within Commonwealth shows that something good was being done in those workshops, and you can now start seeing the fruit of it.